So in the aftermath of what took place yesterday, another attempt was made on Donald Trump. Now, I know a lot of people are saying this was a false flag or this was just a random attempt. But the point is, folks, we are living in a day and age of people who are not emotionally mature and incapable of really separating themselves from this election cycle. And I'm going to say this again. This election cycle, like all presidential election cycles and midterm election cycles, are irrelevant. Yes, I said irrelevant because I've had a few people actually call me out on yesterday's live stream, say, well, what do you mean it's irrelevant? It is irrelevant because every time, every election, every midterm election cycle, it's always, this is the most important. This is the most important. When they're all the most important, none of them are the most important. And at the end of the day, the banks, Wall Street, and big bank executives and hedge fund managers and all these super real wealthy, rich donors and super PACs, they're going to have the final say. But I will say this here. I do not want to see any presidential candidate get hurt. I could have a difference of opinion with anybody. But if it's going to be resorting to violence now, or if this is going to be a common thing that we're going to be seeing in every single election cycle, there's something wrong with our institutions and our media, especially when you have corporate media like MSNBC or CNN specifically saying that Donald Trump needs to watch his tone or lower the rhetoric. Can you only imagine if that was said to Kamala? Can you only imagine if that was said to Biden or Hillary Clinton? Can you only imagine? Now, Bernie Sanders being the nutless wonder, he was told to watch his tone. Not once, but twice during the Democratic primaries. But nonetheless, I think it's important that we at least kind of give a breakdown, excuse me, about what went down yesterday. So I have an article here from The Hill. So let's go ahead and break it down. The FBI investigates a second Trump assassination attempt. 5 things to be in the know about. Right. All right. So let's start off with the first thing. Secret Service fires on man with gun. Great. And it was an AK-47 type style weapon. Okay. So former president was playing golf Sunday at his course in West Palm Beach when Secret Service agents posted a few holes nearby, noticed a man with a rifle, pushed the firearm's muzzle through the perimeter of the course. Authorities told the media the rifle sticking through the bushes between 300 to 500 yards away. The Secret Service agent fired at the man who dropped the AK-47 style rifle and fled in a car. Excuse me again. Secret Service officials contacted Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office around 1:30 p.m., prompting authorities to immediately seal off the area. County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw said. Authorities eventually apprehended a man traveling from Palm Beach County into Marin County on I-95 after witness captured a photograph of the individual's vehicle. Bradshaw said an AK-47 style rifle with a scope. Again, look, the first attempt was with a very poor man's version of an AR-15, one of the lower tier of the AR-15 families, and now an AK-47 with a scope. Now, those two weapons, one thing they got in common, they're used by infantry, they're used for close quarter combat and everything else in between. But sniper weapons, they are not. But again, you got a bunch of dumb people out there. And we really need to do something about mental health in this country because for some reason, I fear it's only going to get worse. So, again, 2 backpacks and a GoPro were found in the bushes where the suspect was spotted, he added. About an hour after Secret Service opened fire at the suspect, the Trump campaign issued a statement that the former president was safe. Thank goodness, okay? Seriously, I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. So we're going to talk about the suspect now. Now, I have to be very careful with it because there is a 10-minute video out there in which he is being interviewed in 2022. Now, I will not be playing that video from Newsweek because there's a very good chance that YouTube will probably flag the video and we'll have to cut the video out or something like that. I do apologize for that inconvenience, but knowing how hypercharged the censorship wave can be, I will be posting that link from Hotspot. There's a whole Twitter thread showing who this person is and what they're about. So let's go ahead and continue on. So News Nation, the Hill sister network, citing the law enforcement source, named a white male, Ryan Wesley Roth, as the suspect. So who is the suspect? Well, before we go with the Hill version, I'm going to pull up this RT article just to trigger the libs. The man behind the botched assassination attempt against Donald Trump at his Florida golf club has been identified as Ryan Wesley Ross, by multiple media reports citing anonymous law enforcement sources. Again, this is the suspect. Authorities have yet to confirm confirmed the suspect's identity. So again, folks, all this is still developing. So we shall see. But this is what's going on. The incident occurred on Sunday while the former president and Republican nominee was playing golf at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. Isn't that great? A Secret Service agent apparently spotted a rifle's barrel sticking through the resort's fence and fired several rounds at the threat. The suspect fled the scene, leaving behind an AK-style rifle. Again, AK-style rifle, just be more specific, with a scope and GoPro camera. Okay, nothing new about that. He was not displaying a lot of emotions. He never asked, what is this about? Martin County Sheriff William Snyder told a press conference. So here is the individual. Of all the t-shirts you had to wear, it had to be pink. Hey, you know what? Hey, nothing against colors, but come on. You could have chose something, there. But anyways, here's a statement from Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm deeply disturbed by the possible assassination attempt of former President Trump today. As we gather the facts, I will be clear. I condemn political violence. We all must do our part to ensure that this incident does not lead to more violence. This is the United States of America. We don't have Medicare for all. We don't have proper ways to treat mental health. We have an opioid crisis. We have an unemployment crisis. People are crazy. People are afraid. We have an economy that's in the spirals. It's in the toilet. And we have a corporate media that basically incites misinformation and also, more importantly, causes people to become emotionally triggered. This is a powder keg ready to blow, but okay. I'm thankful that former President Trump is safe. I condemn the secret. I commend. Why did I say condemn? Commend the Secret Service and law enforcement partners for their vigilance. As President Biden said, our administration will ensure the Secret Service has every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to carry out its critical mission. To which I have to say, the fact that that guy got so close to the fence. I mean, where's the site security? I mean, I get it. You can't cover everything, but you should be able to cover everything, especially after what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. But I digress. Continuing on. The suspect was reportedly relatively calm. It's always the quiet ones you got to worry about, folks. When the authorities detained him, Fox News has obtained a photo of the suspect moments after his arrest, while New York Post columnist Carol Marchowitz has shared another photo of him being pulled out of his vehicle. While the man's identity and motive have not yet been officially confirmed by authorities, law enforcement sources told Associated Press, CNN, Fox News that the detained man's name was Ryan Wesley Ross. A man by that name appeared to be a staunch supporter of Ukraine. Oh, no. According to the U.S. media and internet users who analyzed his social media accounts before they were deleted. Let's pull down this article for a second. I'm going to talk to you guys for a second. The fact that a lot of his social media accounts, especially on Facebook and on X, formerly known as Twitter, but I call it Phoenix, the fact that it got deleted calls into question just what is going on. And I don't like when I see scummy stuff going on. The American people have a right to know what's going on. The American people also need to be very well aware that our media, our establishment system created this environment. We want to know why things are bad. It's because those who run this clown show have made it bad. And when you have the psychopaths, the maniacs, the sociopaths, the clowns, the idiots running a system, of course it's going to be a complete freaking disaster. Welcome to Hard Lens Media, folks. We've been doing this for 7 years. 7 years witnessing insane people running the richest country in the world. And we have weapons of mass destruction too. What could possibly go wrong? So much. According to this, Ross' social media profiles were filled with posts highlighting his self-proclaimed involvement in the Ukraine conflict and attempt to recruit soldiers to fight against Russia, according to a CNN chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst, John Miller. Ross repeatedly voiced staunch support for Kiev in dozens of often nonsensical posts in 2022, saying he was willing to fight and die for Ukraine and that we need to burn the Kremlin to the ground. Oh, Russiagate, you come back in many forms, but yet here we are. Here we are. It didn't have to be this bad. I would like to buy a rocket from you, he wrote in a message to Elon Musk. Yeah, of course, because Elon Musk is going to respond to that. I wish to load it with a warhead for Putin's Black Sea Mansion bunker to end him. Okay, all right. We got Mr. Nutjob, Mr. Crazy. Ross spent several months in Kiev in 2022 and told the New York Times about his efforts to recruit former Afghan soldiers to fight in Ukraine. Okay, buddy. Go ahead. Keep on reaching for that rainbow. He also spoke with Newsweek about his attempt to enlist volunteers for the International Legion Defense of Ukraine. According to New York Post, Ross frequently criticized politicians, including Trump and current President Joe Biden, and touted his do-gooder credentials while championing left-wing causes. Here we go. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, you know me, stated that if the suspect's identity is confirmed, it is clear he's obsessed with the Ukraine war, which is funded by the U.S. Now, according to Edward Snowden, we got this little tweet from him as well. Let's read it. We know little so far, but with alleged Trump shooters' personal and public participation in military activity in Ukraine, it's hard to imagine this White House agency can claim zero contact, clean hands, something of an Oswald vibe here. Congress should get answers. Edward Snowden, love your work, but here, I'm gonna correct you here. You made one big mistake in that tweet. You're asking Congress to do its job and Congress to get answers. Somebody of your caliber should know that Congress ain't ever going to do its job. Hey, folks, let's have democracy in the chat. I know, controversial statement. What's democracy? You think Congress is ever going to do its job for anything, including this? Type 1 for yes, Kit. They are serious elected officials who do serious things. I don't like it how you're mean about Congress. You're saying our politicians are lazy and mean and stupid. Shame on you, you awful man. The type 2 man, Congress ain't going to do its job. I'm doing my job right now, and I'm more qualified than Congress. And you know what? All of you are. You are more qualified than Congress. And I'm willing to bet this too. But there's like 304 people watching me right now in my live stream. Guess what? All 304 of you have what it takes to be a better congressman or woman and do a better job than the current bunch in Washington, D.C. I wonder how many twos will be in the chat. I wonder. Continuing on, let's go ahead and pull up just this tweet right here too. By the way, too, I just want to end this here. Meanwhile, Donald Trump Jr. labeled the suspect would-be shooter a psychopath who probably spends a lot of time watching left-wing propaganda. Sounds like this sociopath spends a lot of time watching left-wing propaganda. And he goes on to target and yell at Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, you are an idiot. Why don't you go and join Putin and Trump and be their third leg? Please leave my Hawaii. You embarrass me. Shut your stupid mouth. This is a war where people are getting slaughtered for no reason. I'm going to fight and die for Ukraine. Well, have at it, buddy. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Nutjob. Go ahead. Hold on for one quick second here. Hold on. It's a little hot day here in Chicago, turning on my fan. So there you go. So let's go ahead and continue on with the article from The Hill. So let's go ahead and talk about. So accordingly, here we go. Increased fears of rhetoric leading to violence. So that's a little bit of breakdown who the guy is. I got a whole Twitter thread from Hotspot in which they break down a little bit more about what happened. Both assassination attempts against Trump come amid a continued rise of aggressive political rhetoric on both sides of the aisle. Republicans were quick to blame on Democrats for their party's rhetoric following both attempts on Trump's life. Enough is enough. Representative Roger Williams, Republican from Texas, posted on social media's platform X following the assassination attempt. The left continues to push their hateful and dangerous rhetoric. The right does the same thing too. Okay, there's insane people on both sides of the aisle. I just want to remind you guys about that. Secret Service speaks quickly through scrutiny grows over presidential safety. All right, I could read this whole article here, but listen, Secret Service. You're supposed to be the best of the best. According to all the Hollywood movies and TV shows I saw, growing up as a kid, you guys are supposed to be on the swivel all the time, every time. You keep effing up. And of course, this is a tight election. So let's go ahead and at least break down just a little bit more about what we're seeing here, okay? So this is a Twitter thread from Hotspot. So let's go ahead and break it down. Shout out to Hotspot. Suspect attempted Trump's assassination identified as Ryan Ross, who has connections to the Ukraine Ministry of Defense. By the way, again, folks, here is his Twitter account. Account has been suspended. Danos out of existence. Why would you do that? Ryan once broke down on Newsweek Romania interview begging the audience to come fight and support Ukraine. He is a resident of the great state of Hawaii with several donations to the DNC via Act Blue. His social media is filled with anti-Trump and pro-democratic posts. We need everyone here fighting. That's why I'm in Kiev. So every project that I promote is about getting people here to support the Ukrainians. When you talk to a 20-year-old guy that sold everything he owns to come here and fight, that is heroism. Listen, folks, listen. Life is short and precious. Enjoy every moment we have here. And this war that's happening in Ukraine is absolutely insane. So I just want to pull up this video here.
The suspect in what is now being investigated as a second attempted assassination of former President Trump has been identified. Authorities say his name is Ryan Wesley Roth. He allegedly poked his muzzle of his AK-47 style rifle through a chain link fence as he was hiding in the bushes of former President Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's when an agent saw it and opened fire. The Trump campaign releasing the statement just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. President Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity. No further details at this time. Those gunshots, we now know, were fired by that Secret Service agent. Roth now in custody.
Okay, so he is in custody. However, there's a couple other things here that we have to address, especially in regards towards this individual and what he is doing. Because if we look at his whole background, Ryan Roth was apparently a Trump supporter, then a never Trump Republican, then a 2020 Bernie bro, to end up becoming a psycho NFAO boomer liberal who will sacrifice anything it takes to fight Ukraine. That's quite a journey. You know what this tells me about the person? He's not well in the head and can be easily manipulated. Okay, real Donald Trump, while you were my choice in 2106, you mean 2016, and I in the world hope that President Trump would be different and better than the candidate. But we were all greatly disappointed, and it seems you are getting worse and developing, and devolving. You are retarded. I'll be glad when you are gone. Again, President of the United States, your campaign should be called something like KADAF, Keep America Democratic and Free. Trump should be MASA, Make American Slaves Again Master. Democracy is on the ballot. Oh, boy. Guy's pretty out there. Let Tulsi debate. Tulsi, we need to reinvent ourselves at this stage. So, yeah, he's a Tulsi. I was not supporting Bernie. He goes on to say about Bernie. And then he does all this stuff. This guy's not emotionally well. Probably can be manipulated. By the way, he's got a rap sheet. A rap sheet it's quite a criminal record for a 58-year-old man. And by the way, just so y'all know, Ryan Roth was also a pro-Taiwan, pro-North Korea, pro-Black Lives Matter, and now is planning on endorsing Vivek and Nikki Haley this year. Clearly, he wasn't all there in the head. And to quote Gray Walker joined third party, why is he here and not there? Gray Walker, I think you know this as well as I do and anybody else, but those who talk the biggest, who say that they're a fighter and that they can handle everything, when push comes to shove, when they're finally on the front line, they run away. I think we all know that those who talk the biggest, who talk the loudest, are the most scared, the most frightened, easily afraid. Now, the breakdown in regards to everything that happened to Trump, first of all, is, number one, he's safe. But it is interesting that, again, we're seeing a presidential candidate having their life threatened. And I say, once again, because not only including what happened to Butler, Pennsylvania, to Donald Trump in July, which wasn't that too long ago, I also want to include what happened with RFK Jr.'s campaign, because his campaign was denied Secret Service protection, especially when he was running in the Democratic primary and running as an independent. Now, we all know that RFK Jr. has suspended his campaign and endorsed Donald Trump. That's very clear on that. He did that right after the DNC convention over the weekend. But if this is what we're to expect all the time, the next time we may not be lucky. The next time we may not be breathing a sigh of relief. There are a lot of people who have put all their stock, their hopes, their dreams, their time, effort, treasury into this election cycle. And it really says a lot about America and its people when we put these politicians on a pillar. And the thing is, you have people who are willing to fight and die for their political beliefs, these politicians. But the sad truth is that when you worship these politicians, you put them on such a high ground, it causes the other side then to vilify you. And who causes this vilification? It's corporate media. You have CNN and MSNBC, siding with the Democratic Party. And of course, you got Fox News and other conservative media outlets going with the Republican Party. And in turn, what does corporate media do? They spew out the hate and the misinformation, causing you and your fellow Americans to hate your neighbor, to cause great fights at the Thanksgiving table, to cause all of us to view each other with suspicion. And in turn, the most mentally deranged of us who do need help then somehow get the wise idea that they're somehow going to save the world by taking out politician A or politician B. I would assume that we would know better. But the lesson here is that the sickness in the system is the people running the institutions, the media, big tech, and the two-party system and their corporate donors. We know what the problem is. And the remedy is for right now us to take back our rights, not just through voting. I mean, it doesn't matter who wins on election night. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter who sits on the throne. The donors will always have the final say. No one in D.C. is your friend. Nobody likes you. Nobody thinks about you. Nobody respects you. And that's a key word. No politician in Washington, D.C. respects any U.S. citizen who's working your ass off right now. So if you're in your car right now, or you're on the train, on the bus, on a bike, going to work, remember this. Your oh so fantastic politician doesn't respect you. That's Democrats and Republicans. And we owe ourselves and the next generation something better. Ballot initiatives. That's how we fight back. Building movements and organizations not connected to D.C., doing mutual aid. Because the next time, let's say a politician does get hurt. Let's say something bad does happen to Trump or Kamala. Well, then kaboom, there goes the powder keg. Is that what we want? Are we that emotionally stunted to where we have to fight one another? Secret Service, do your job. Corporate media, change your ways. But oh, wait, I'm asking corporate media to change its ways because you can't change something that doesn't want to be changed. Look at the Justice Democrats and how they tried to change the Democratic Party. That ain't going to happen. I'm glad Trump is safe. But and again, what happened to him in July wasn't that too long ago. And I know there's a lot of people saying this is a psyop. Oh, there's something more to it. And you know what? There probably is. You can't trust anything you see with your eyes anymore. The internet can trick you. The media can trick you. And we've been tricked before. The pathway forward is removing the system at hand. And it requires each of us to be a leader in our community. Whatever happens on election night, know this. It's out of your control. But that doesn't mean the fight's over. The real fight's beginning. This election is a distraction. And all these elections are irrelevant. But life is short and precious. And we owe it to the next generation to create a better world, not give them one covered in ash and dirt.